Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, nasscom. Thank you, organizers. I'm Sudatta from Capgemini, a proud employee of Capgemini. So today, before we get into the session's topic, uh, I would like to talk about some of the sustainable practices that we see in our households, in our public, places, in our office premises, and in our, surrounding. So start with households, right? So we see solar systems installed on top of our rooftops. Then we look at less energy consuming LED bulbs. Then we look at motion sensor bulbs, energy efficient fans, and so on and so forth. When we go to office, we see all the plastic bottles are replaced. When we go to the airport, we see there are water dispensers, and all paper towels are replaced with dryers. So this signifies a positive and good initiative. But is it good enough? No, because we are consuming much, much higher ecological resources compared to what the Earth is able to regenerate in the same year. So with this, there is a immediate need. I think since morning I've been in some of the sessions. I see that there's a good focus on how technology can use for sustaining the earth, sustaining the ecological resources that Earth has. So I'll also take you through another analogy before we move into the Industry 4.0 and transitioning into 5.0, why it is relevant and what really makes us to think that this is relevant and we can do something about it. If I look at it from the lens of society, from lens of humanity, you see the way the definition of luxury has changed. Maybe I come from an era where luxury was having a car, or luxury was having a television, or a landline telephone, in fact, right? But today, if we look at it, luxury is physical well-being, mental well-being, because we are so overloaded with our gadgets. Our life is so into, operating around all of this. So we have to work on our own physical well-being. So instead of using a lift, now we prefer to go in a staircase, right? So this is the change we are seeing today. Now, what is the analogy in the industry, parlance? Industry X.0, if I can say so, started with Industry 1.0, which was an era of it started with the steam engine, and then electricity, and then information systems. Then came Industrial 4.0. So Industrial 4.0 focused mostly on the advanced technologies that we see today, starting with Internet of Things, the big data, the AI, ML, AR, VR, robotics, and all of it. But at the cost of what? At the cost of impacting humanity, impacting the environment. So post-pandemic, I think the realization becomes severe, where Industry 5.1 got conceived with a common principle of emphasizing on human and machine collaboration, then emphasizing on sustainability and resilience. So with this kind of a context and background, I would like to listen from a panelist, let's say Abhishek. You want to share your views on how this transition is going from 4.0 to 5.0, the challenges that we see today. Over to you, Abhishek.
Yeah, so I think, thank you so much. Am I audible out back there?
I think it's okay.
Yeah? Okay, so when we look at the transition from 4.0 to 5.0, let me start with a very controversial statement. Do we really need 5.0? 4.0 was simple. How do you measure 4.0 success? You measure the efficiency, productivity of your plants and saying you're doing good. Now when you look at 5.0, what do you measure? Efficiency? Or do you measure sustainability of plants? Do you measure the ethics or values of what's happening in the industry in your plants? Do you look at the extent of human? How do you really measure? So many parameters to measure now, and the cost is only increasing if you want to do all of these things. So are we really getting ROI from 5.0? That's one of the biggest challenges that industry is grappling with. The smaller industries, in fact, are struggling to even say, should we even go there, right? We are okay where we are, let us be efficient, right? Let someone else solve the human problem, right? So that's challenge number one I see. The second is the skill gaps, huge skill gaps with the 5.0 coming in. Of course, it helps India, but the skill gaps are there. The third one, the previous session was about AI versus sustainability. I think that challenge will remain. Someone asked here the question. I think the solution is not known yet. It will take time. The fourth one, we are talking of human-machine collaboration. Now, what does it mean? When you look at machines, we are talking of precision, we are talking of efficiency. When you look at humans, we are talking of creativity, we are talking of humanity, we are talking of problem solving. Now, when they come together, there are other kind of challenges that come up, which probably we'll talk in this session later. Cyber challenges. Now, a lot of 4.0 did not touch cyber. 5.0 is a lot about cyber because now you have your machines all talking to each other, your cars, your medical devices, your factory assets, everything is IoT enabled and is available to the hackers to hack into. So how are you looking at your cyber solutions to these challenges that have emerged, that are emerging more so with 5.0 coming in? And there are many other things, but I think the last thing I want to leave here is the challenge of pace. Are we comfortable with the pace at which this whole thing is moving? It's moving at a very rapid pace. Is it going to take away jobs? There's a lot of discussion about jobs being taken away. Last year, data shows that just the IT services industry hired 100,000 less people than the previous year. Is it GenAI or is it just the market conditions? Is that going to happen in 5.0 as well? So these are some of the challenges that we'll have to grapple with as 5.0 comes up.
Thank you, Abhishek. Over to you, Debashis. You want to share your views, especially on the manufacturing sector? Yeah.
So I will compliment Abhishek by talking about the positive aspects because he touched upon the challenges, which I fully agree. And what are the plus side of 5.0? So first of all the governments across the world are committed to carbon neutrality. India in 2070, China in 2060, Europe in 2050. So it's imperative that our manufacturing systems and practices have to get tuned up for the net carbon which our government has committed. But not only governments, but also the companies are committing themselves. Since I am part of Renault Nissan, Nissan and Renault have both committed carbon neutrality in Europe. Renault is doing in 2040, Nissan is doing in Japan in 2050. So all the government, the enterprise are all gearing up. And that's where the manufacturing also has to gear up. But as my colleague said, it's very important that what is differentiating 5.0 to 4.0? I would say 5.0 is consolidating all the gains of 4.0, but putting human in the loop. Human as a key decision maker. Human put to better use, more validation by the human. So I would say 4.0 is more technology and automation, whereas 5.0 is technology and humans. It's not replacing a human with automation. It's coexistence of human and the machine, human plus machine. So we are talking of cobots, the intelligent robots. The intelligent robots, I give you a very simple example just to throw some light. In a plant of Nissan in Japan, when there is an engine assembly happening, the cobot is able to lift the heavy parts. It is able to assemble the part, and it is intelligent enough. That means today if you see robots are enclosed and barbed fence, you cannot enter a zone where the robot is working. But the cobot is just besides you like a co-pilot. So it's the co-pilot on the assembly line. Just like you have a chat GPT, you have a chat GPT for the worker, where the cobot is doing the heavy stuff, and the human mind is put to more use for diagnostics, for inspection, and for taking critical decisions. So this is the game changer in which the human mind is put to a better use. And then comes the sustainability part, which Sudatta was saying, that all these IoT and big data, AI, ML will of course help us to reduce the number of the amount of carbon which is emitted. And we are talking of intelligent factories. But intelligent factories with a human aspect in it. This is what is Industry 5.0.
Yeah, thanks, Debashish. I think one interesting point that is coming is whether this 4.0 and 5.0, are they two different phases? Do we need this? Is this was enough, not enough? So I think the both 4.0 and 5.0 need to coexist, one. Second, one of them is giving us the benefit of productivity and efficiency improvement, whereas 5.0 is bringing the humanity angle. And so they are part of the same evolution, though they are looked at as, two different phases of Industry X.0, right? And further to continue on that, we see like at least in Capgemini, we are talking about dual transformation. You are transforming your own ecological footprint, you are doing your digital transformation, while you are also helping our customers to accelerate their journey in both this eco-digital transformation towards a eco-digital economy. So that is coming out very strongly, and it is very eminent after pandemic. Now coming to how India is positioned in the overall global context of Industry 5.0. So let's hear from our panelist. Abhishek, you want to share your views?
Yeah, I think like many other technologies, we are blessed that we have, I think, 1.5 million engineers graduating every year. So, and by the way, I was just reading, we don't know what China produces because that number is always questionable, but I'm sure they do. The next best is Russia at 450,000, and then it's US at 230,000 engineers per annum. Now, all of these technologies that we're talking of needs serious brain power, because now we're talking the human angle coming in. And I think that's where the Indian industry is amazingly poised to use this talent pool, not just the young engineers, but the whole industry that we have created over the years, to ensure that our engineers are skilled in the technologies that are needed for 5.0. And I think that is something no one can take away from us, and that is the biggest strength we bring to the table. Now, beyond that, I mean, I'll speak from a services industry perspective. I'm sure Debashish can add from a GCC angle and manufacturing angle. So if you look from a services sector, while of course we do trainings, all of us have engineering academies, we train people, we keep them ready for the future. But I think a lot of investment is also going on looking at the problems that our customers are facing, right? We have access to global customers, be it automotive or manufacturing or medical device customers, industry products. We work across the globe, across these different segment customers in technology, in mobility, or in high-tech areas. And what that gives us ideas of what our customers are looking for. And frankly, I think the kind of solutions we come up with, just last week we launched a solution or a platform which we call Factory Next. Now, what is Factory Next? If you look at 4.0 looked at the ISA 95 architecture, which was meant for integration from the shop floor to the top floor, right? There are multiple layers for integration. But one of the things probably it missed out because it was not prevalent then was the cyber angle coming in. Now, if you look at this whole architecture, you have various points of failure. You have sensors where there is data, you have gateways where there is data, you have network where there is data. So there are multiple points where you have data coming in which can be hacked into and can make your factories go down. And that's where 5.0 comes in, our Factory Next comes in, where we ensure data operability between all of these nodes and also ensuring that we have secure factories. Right? I mean, I can go on, but I think these are areas where every company, I'm sure most of you here are investing in to come up with solutions which can help our customers in solving the real world problems.
Yeah, thanks Abhishek. So Debashish, anything on the GCC perspective? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, as you rightly said, Sudatta, that Industry 4.0 anchored major technologies, AI, ML, robotics, big data analytics, digital twin, right? Now, all these technologies are transversal technologies. when I'm conceiving, I'm doing product development, you talk of a car, since I belong to car industry, autonomous driving is using AI, right? A lot of data analytics goes into the car to take decisions, right? Then there is connectivity in the car, where you have solutions which are running connected to the cloud. Same in the factory environment. There is 5G, 6G network, and all the data of the factory is in the cloud, and you do big data analytics to take meaningful decisions to reduce energy consumption, to reduce water consumption, etc. So what I'm trying to say is that Indian GCC or capability centers are already having the knowledge of AI, ML, big data, robotics, virtualization, digital twin. Now you have to apply this on a industry 5.0 scenario. So we are well placed. The answer is yes, we are all well placed. The techniques are the same, the situations are different. You apply on a product, now you apply on a manufacturing environment. And as Abhishek said, we are having a big talent pool. India gives the skill and the scale. No other country has the skill and the scale at the same time. So I'm talking about my center, where there are poles of competency or center of excellence, which are doing basically the complete virtualization of the factory, and to see through AR, VR techniques, how the human operator on the assembly line, ergonomically he or she is able to do the operation which he or she is supposed to do. Or through the AR, VR, you are able to train the operators on a very hostile environment. For example, paint shop. Without even spending a single drop of paint, through AR, VR, you are able to train the operators, right? Or when you put an electric powertrain on a car, it is high voltage systems. So through virtual environment, through AR, VR, you are able to train the operator on managing high voltage circuits. Or for example, if you have to do an inspection of a paint of a car, there will be 11 robots which is there in one of the Nissan plants, which takes photographs in very inaccessible areas to detect paint defects or dust or debris. And the operator is on a tablet, seeing through the power of AI where the defect is and to make the decisions. So that's where Industry 5.0 is happening. The creativity side and the human mind is put to better use. And I think the workforce of the future will be more motivated because he or she is no longer doing monotonous jobs, but doing real value addition and creativity. And I think India is best placed, thanks to the enormous talent in all these technologies, to transform the industry to 5.0.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for those insights, Debashis. So, I think the other important part, right, I think there were a lot of questions from the previous discussions we heard, that is really AI helping in achieving sustainability, or is it creating problems, right? So, I think what is important here is that there are context-specific models getting developed, right? So that is one solution to the larger set of problems that we are talking about. See, the LLMs carry billions of parameters. They use several GPUs and TPUs and, generate carbon emissions of hundreds of tons. But then do we need those big LLMs in every use case? Maybe no. See, if I'm talking about engineering domain, see, we are all talking about engineering, R&D, services, product, all of it. Now, if I'm talking about manufacturing engineering, why do I need to know about the entire Earth's data? No, I don't need. I need anything which is related to manufacturing, engineering, services. Or if I'm doing a PLC kind of a work, I need PLC specific data and data models, right? Or if I am working in a semiconductor business, okay, I am working on VLSI and I want to support my SMEs, I need a semiconductor co-pilot, not that I need a bigger, OpenAI, LLM, all kind of, and no, I don't need. So that intelligence is coming from the human side of it, right? So this is very important that the technology and the human collaboration, the machine and the human collaboration has to go together, hand in hand. In fact, when we talked about sustainability, there is another pillar of Industry 5.0, which is resilience. Now, how resilience is relevant here? Resilience is relevant if you look at our food supply chain during pandemic, how many shocks we get in the demand side, how many shocks we got in the supply side. Enormous. Things are just not available in the market. So when we integrate some of these technologies, let's say the distribution vehicle itself is, fully equipped with the sensors and the IoTs and the connectivity, or the inventory is fully equipped, enabled with the technology, order is going, so that will help us in two things. One, of course, the efficiency and the productivity is, coming because of the technologies, and we can mitigate such, the demand and the supply side shocks, plus the safety and hygiene of the workers can also be, enabled through the technology. So overall, I think we are talking about the human centricity, we are talking about sustainability, we are talking about resiliency, which are the key pillars of the Industry 5.0. But just to wrap up the session, I see the clock there. I want to take the final, views from the panelists here.
I think, Sudatta, I can compliment you by adding one more element. So you talked about sustainability, you talked about human centricity, and you talked about resilience. The fourth one, which Industry 5.0 is bringing, is personalization in the manufacturing setup.
Yes.
The Industry 4.0 is very tuned to mass production with very less diversity. Let's say I am in a car plant and I will make 5 models or 6 models, and it is a production which is running, right? But let me say that I have specialized car requirement, a special variant of car which is not in thousands, 100,000 per year, but it is just a niche car segment, very segmented, maybe 10,000 in a year. Our current Industry 4.0 is not flexible enough to adapt to low volume, highly specialized production batches. And 5.0 gives you the flexibility to personalize production and to have dedicated small batches. So I think this brings a new element in 5.0 to have a lot of versatility in the manufacturing process.
Yep.
Just from a technology perspective, one of the technologies we don't talk about enough, because I think the time for it has not really come, is blockchain. Now, blockchain as a technology is extremely relevant for traceability. Now, I know ITC is one of the companies which uses blockchain technology for traceability. I mean, I'd read a report where they look at their entire agri-business products, right from farm to the table, and they're able to trace where the issues or where the potential risks are, and that's where a human comes in and makes sure that that problem is solved, so that the next time it happens, the same problem doesn't repeat. Right? I mean, she spoke of sensors, of course, right? Amul uses AI sensors in all their vans for all the dairy products to figure out where it might have been contaminated. Again, humans come in, check those potential contaminated vans or the products and do something about it. AI is used by Nestle to do the same thing for potential risks. Big Baskets actually goes to the farmers and trains them on farm safety, right? But they also use digital technologies and platform to ensure that compliance is still there. They're not just leaving it, okay, I've trained them, so it should be all fine. They're still checking compliance using digital technologies. So I think this whole industry, the way it's moving with human coming in, I think one of the very interesting examples, because I run medtech business also for LTTS now, that we are working on, or we have seen at very close quarters, is this whole thing about robotic arm surgery. So a lot of surgery needs robots being there. I mean, you can imagine surgeons say, I'm an expert, I can do it myself. I love the feel of blood and all that stuff, right? Now you're saying, you know what, we'll give you a machine, there'll be a robot who will be doing the surgery, because that'll be precise. You don't need 98% accuracy, we need 100% accuracy. And that's what a robot can do. So you need to have this robotic arm and do the surgery. Now you can imagine a 55-year-old doctor saying, what the hell is happening? This is not what I signed up for. And those are the kind of challenges also coming in the industry, where there is a pushback. Machines can't push back, right? They'll do what we say, at least for now, right? But humans will push back. They're saying, I don't want this change. And that is something that we are, in many pockets, the industry is grappling when it comes to change management, which also I think is a huge subject for the industry 5.0 and how do we do org change management and make the people realize that this is good for you, good for the industry, and embrace it rather than fight it back.
Maybe on a lighter note, I would say Industry 5.0 gives us the confidence that our jobs are intact. Humans are still there in the race.
Yes.
So with that note, I think we can
Yeah.
take a couple of questions.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe I'll just conclude also that yeah, India is positioned well, can be treated as a innovation hub. We talked about talent, we talked about, in fact, the Make in India, the Digital India, the startup ecosystem is coming so strongly, that we are going to become unbeatable. And of course, we have to really adapt, to the agility that is required. Sometimes you have to go for an ecosystem business model rather than, just sitting silo that, okay, we need to work on it. So, couple of things that you have to work on, but yeah, open for any question, please.
I'm Chandrakant. I just want to understand how AI is going to affect our semiconductor industry, because AI is getting implemented and now India is going to become one of the fastest growing into semiconductor. So how AI
Thank you.
going to implement?
Thank you for that question, and which is so relevant and not talked much if you look at in the overall context of Industry 5.0. But at least I can think of two use cases which we are already working in Capgemini. Is one, as I said earlier, we are having Copilot for semiconductor, which is very domain specific. Okay, that is going to help our architects to do a quick design when they are referring to hundreds of specifications, so that is going to definitely reduce. And, just to continue on, how these big LLMs are going to help, but here you can have context specific LLMs. Second, the test bench creation itself, that's such a big challenge for our engineers, and this AI can really help here to expedite and give more coverage when we are going for testing of our products.
Just final word. I mean, you have to understand that all other industries leverage AI. The semicon industry creates AI in the chips. So that is what semicon industry is doing. And I think we're all dependent on the semicon industry to create this AI which can be used in the other industries. Yeah. I think we should stop here.
Thanks. Any other question? Yeah, please.
A general question. We're all talking about this AI and sustainability and all these things, industry 4.2 to 5.0, and these are primarily for the large-scale industries. What are our thinking about the medium and small-scale industries?
See, I would say, I would also invite the panel to, add here. But AI need not be for large-scale industry or medium-scale industry. AI is for individuals like me also. When I install a Copilot, it is helping me. See, overall, we see this entire AI adoption into two parts. One, we are looking at how the efficiency is improved throughout the life cycle. Engineers are working in design, development, testing, all of it. But the other part is the engineering solutions we are talking about, right? Like I think he mentioned about medtech and robotic surgery and all. The multi-dimensional images coming from a medical equipment, you see how much of data that is coming in and is helping in the diagnosis. So one of the LLM Gen AI solution will help there. So it's all about the context in which you are working, and you will find a way to use it, use the technology. And I'm not just talking about AI or Gen AI. Here we are talking about all the advancements happened in the technology, starting Industry 4.0, towards productivity improvement, efficiency improvement. All of them are available with us. It need not be always that, okay, Gen AI is in hype and I should be using it. No, if it is not required, it is not required to use it. You have better ways to do things, quite possible. See, you give this Copilot that, okay, you summarize my mail. Oh, it will give you all crap. Okay, it will, if you just give your handle, or compose this mail for me, I will just write few words in the mail and that guy will give me, a paragraph. What do I do with the paragraph, right? So, if it is available doesn't mean that we need to use it. You have to be conscious about And that's where the investments are coming, right? Are we investing? And that's where the companies are little conservative. If I'm spending money, am I getting the ROI? That's also another factor. Like we talked about transitioning from 4.0 to 5.0. So what are those areas that, that needs to be mitigated, right? We talked about talent. We talked about ecosystem business model. We talk about investment, right? Investment is required. So we need not generalize, use of technology in all. But what we are trying to say here is whatever we are doing, keep the human-centric in mind, keep the sustainability aspect of mind, keep the resilience, because the earth is depleting. Climate change is creating all kind of havoc. You know how earth overshoot day, I don't know how many of you know, what is earth overshoot day? Anyone knows? No. It is the day in the year when consumption from humanity, consumption of ecological resources by humanity exceeds what the energy, what the earth can regenerate. The overshoot day, earth overshoot day was started in 1970, and that year it was on 25th of December. You know what is that day this year? It happened on 1st of August, which means the amount of consumption the humanity has done till end of July has already exceeded what the earth is able to regenerate. We are talking about ecological resources. So if we continue like this, only God save us. And it is a serious problem. So we have to work now so that our future generation is able to, get what they need. Because we have to preserve, conserve. So little bit of mindfulness is required, and that's it. Yeah. You want to say something?
No, I think we have exceeded the time, but
Yeah.
I would say let's work for the technology adaptation, keeping human and planet in mind. With that, I think we sum it up.
For more content on tech and leadership, subscribe to NASSCOM YouTube channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.